Hi. In other videos, we have applied the migration for standalone and the control flow to replace the ng if ng4 with the new syntax. In this video, we will apply the new migration for converting inputs to the signal inputs. So if you don't know, there is a new way of creating the input without having this input decorator. And this is based on the signals. As you can see in my application, I have tons of inputs here. And if I had to do it manually, so that means, let's say this title property, if I had to do it like this, or this is a number, for example. Okay. If I had to do this one, I would have to do manually. Remove the input here, remove this one, and say input of type number and default value is 0. And I would have to import input, the small input. Notice the way it's capital input is a decorator. Okay, it's an input decorator. If you go to its definition, you will see it's a decorator with some metadata. However, the small input is a function, which is a signal function. So if I compile this, this should work. And the next point is like, would you go through the whole application of yours and try to replace each property one by one? I guess not, right? So the best way to do it, apply the migration and let Angular do it for us. So let me run this command and see what happens. Which directory I want to migrate? The current one. Uh, okay, it's asking, do you want to go and try to replace everything and it might break build? I don't think so. I want to play safe. And let's see what happens. So it's going through the config file, scanning the application, and it's replacing the files. Now, if I zoom out a little bit to see the difference, so the migration has changed 72 files, and one of the changes like this one. So as you can see, it removed the input decorator and put input.required here, and then input automatic. Let's check the UI side. In the UI side, in the HTML, if it is a regular input property with decorator, you just use that as a name. But with signal, you need to call it as a function. So the migration has did this change for you as well. So not just it applied the input signal here, but it updates the HTML binding as well. Similarly, you can see here. So here we were having the input show toggle property is changed to the input signal, and is input signal if condition has been called with the signal here. Interesting thing to notice is the somewhere, let me try to find here. It determines whether this input is required or not. So you can mark input as a required in decorator as well, or you can use the same feature of required of input using this syntax. So dot required. And if I just randomly navigate, you can see the more or less same changes has been done here. And yeah, let's try to compile it. So if I had to compile it, let me say npm start. It should go through the new changes, build it, and if there is any compilation error, we will see how to fix them. Okay, so there seems to be some compilation errors. Required inputs, pretext, aftertext in the component must be specified. So looks like there is a component called nx email body view. Let's go to this component. In this component, we have marked pretext and aftertext as a required input with the migration. However, we are specifying only description property input here. So what we can do, that means these properties are not required. So let's remove them as required and keep them simple and compile it again, and we have the application successful. If I can open it into a new browser, I will just go and type into a separate window, and then I bring it back here, and let's check the console. I'm not concerned about the API because I'm not running the local server here, but I'm interested into any compilation error from the Angular, and I don't see many. So looks like we have all the migration done for the inputs. And this is easy, right? Imagine doing this on your own with these hundreds and thousands of files in your project. Cool, that's it. Thank you. If you have any question or doubts, drop me a message. Thanks. Bye bye.